All right. My name is Harc, and I'm your runner right now. And I'd like to introduce my commentator, Eggplant.
Hello, my name is Eggplant. I currently hold the Halo 4 Legendary World Record, and Hark over here
All
holds
right.
the Halo 4 Easy World Record.
Yep. So this is the first mission. If you'd like to explain this very cool mission.
Alright, for the first level of the game, we're on Dawn. Dawn is a level where it starts out pretty boring. You're stuck in this cryo tube for about 40 seconds before you actually take control of your character. But once you start taking control of your character, we can get to the fun part of the level.
Seems like old times.
Ready to get back to work?
I thought
So,
you'd
yep.
never ask.
And movement has started.
Our best bet to
All right.
boarding us is the
So the big thing with movement in this game is you're going to see him sprint and then do a jump and then punch a couple of times. This is called muscle running. It's the main movement tech of this game. Sprint isn't unlimited in this game. It's basically there's an invisible meter, unlike Reach where there's a visible meter. So in order to gain sprint infinitely, you have to sprint for a couple of steps, then jump, and then use a punch or cancel with whatever animation, and then the sprint recharges while you're in the middle of the air. So if you do this precisely enough, you get infinite sprint. And optimizing your sprint cycles is a heavy part of movement optimization. And this part over here is just an auto scroller, basically.
Yeah. Funny story. This mission used to be a lot harder. A lot harder. But then I kind of made the difficulty of this mission kind of redundant with this little grenade jump right here.
He's coming up on a skip called Dawn Skip, which is a pretty big skip for this level, all things considered, because the full path mission used to be like 8 to 9 minutes, and now you can just do this. I will have runner silence.
Got it.
So that right there is a trick called Cordy Bounce, found by a runner who might be in chat called Cordy Axis, who is a pretty big optimizer for this level's IL before the new strat. It's a harder version of that drop down. You can't take that drop down like immediately because if you land hard on the floor, then you'll just fall timer, which will kill you immediately when you're basically hit the ground too hard / too fast and you fall for a longer period of time. And that ending movement is so much harder than it looks.
Yeah, there's a lot of bumps and whatnot on that floor, so it's very easy to do.
The geometry is very weird, and it's also very hard to see.
And yeah,
So,
we're
full
just in a
path level.
cutscene.
Yeah, we sit for another 30 seconds, 38 seconds before the ending of this level happens. So, full path for Dawn used to be in the 740s in 8-minute times, and now this level you can reasonably do under 4 minutes. The harder version of that skip is to use a double grenade box launch to get onto a very tiny piece of geometry to bump you out, and it's really awful. So Harc really, really helped with making that a viable strat to where anyone can do that without the many hours of learning.
Chances are you'll find something the Covenant won't want shot at.
And yeah, now we're on Requiem, which at the very start here relies a lot on movement techniques called slide jumps, where you essentially use your falling momentum into a slanted surface, and whenever you jump off of a slanted surface with a lot of speed coming down into it, it transfers your downward speed into horizontal speed, which can be faster than sprinting in some cases, or more commonly, it just helps manage sprint cycles a little bit better.
About my condition, I didn't want to mention it.
And that entire 50 seconds was purely based for movement. And now we have to drive to where we need to go for about a full minute before another fun thing happens.
Yeah, it's very important to have control of your vehicle when you drive, because it's very easy to, you know, fishtail, which is where, you know, you lose control of your vehicle and it starts spinning out of control. Or on drop-offs like there, it's can be easy if you're not careful to flip upside down, so it's very important to take
Or to
good
bounce
paths and
and
whatnot.
flip.
Do you think there's something to it?
Or just completely stop dead on your tracks. It's awful.
And Eggplant, I'm going to be switching mouse and keyboard here if you want to explain that.
So the reason he swaps from mouse and keyboard to, or from swaps from controller to mouse and keyboard is because in Covenant vehicles like the Ghost and the Wraith and the Banshee, mouse and keyboard has a lot more looser of controls than the controller, which allows them to do flicks, which allows you to do strats like this.
Uh-oh. Having a little bit of trouble here. Good old Requiem.
So you
Ghost
can bring
driving.
up the Ghost into this section, and it is quite tricky, as you can see, to maneuver the Ghost in extremely tight corridors with weird sticks of rocks in the geometry that sticks out.
It's almost like you're not meant to bring the Ghost here. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
you're not meant to bring up vehicles in there, but with precise maneuvers you can do so. He's going to be bringing this Ghost up here to splatter this elite, and then which makes those grunts suicidal, and then you can take this group of enemies extremely quickly. He's going to take this Ghost back and get the energy sword here, because the sword is very useful for the later parts of the mission. So you're not supposed to bring the Ghost up here. We specifically brought the Ghost up, A, because it's faster than walking on foot, and 2, because there's a strat coming up that the Ghost is really useful for.
A console in the back.
And I got it.
I don't know how to explain this trick very well.
In service of Forerunner Shield World,
Essentially, what you're doing is,
At least we know where we are now.
once you press the button that's supposed to start a cinematic, you immediately get back in the Ghost to stop it from despawning, and it has the unintended effect of turning you invisible.
I'm detecting power fluctuations.
And it turns you invisible because it's actually teleported you to a different part of the map physically. But we're just using it just to keep the Ghost from despawning, because if you start up that cutscene normally and you don't get inside the Ghost will instantly despawn off the map. So by staying inside the Ghost during the cutscene, it prevents the game from deleting the Ghost and allows us to keep it, which helps a lot with the movement.
You can maneuver very fast in this area while using the Ghost.
Oh. Oh, this is nice. We got the segmented stuff.
Yes, you got like the perfect enemy spawns there. So those enemies can come out of that area in that door at random times. It can be extremely slow sometimes and extremely fast some other times. You want it to be extremely slow so you can get there in time and kill all those enemies really quickly. And coming up there, Harc really wants to get a Banshee out of the sky. And he needs to do a specific setup in order to make that happen.
Okay, kind of have a fail here. And I'm also failing my button inputs to try to save it. Okay, we got it. A little bit weird, but we got it.
A little bit slow, but that's okay. Yeah, you can get that Banshee out of the sky by making it dip down below the Phantom and then hijacking it from from onto the floor, but kind of messed that up, but he got a really quick backup. And coming up is one of the newer tricks in the run, and also a really cool trick. By setting up a Banshee and using the conch, you can get the Banshee into a position where you can grab it through the wall. And if you do it right, you can get the Banshee out of bounds. And you can hit this trigger to load in the next area. And while you're out of bounds, you can hit this next trigger here to trigger the next part.
It should be fine.
And he needs to park this Banshee in a very specific way, because if he parks it in the wrong spot, it can get stuck in the geometry and you can't get it back out. And he needs for this door to close on time, because if you're down there while the load happens, it'll explode the Banshee. And you then hit this last trigger, and the reason he needs coordinates here is to where he can fly out of this Banshee to end the level out of bounds. You can't see anything there. The reason that happens is because the elevator needs to spawn in order for that to trigger, but because the trigger there and the elevator doesn't spawn, you don't have to wait for the elevator to come down and come back up. So that entire process just there saves 30 seconds. It's a pretty complicated trick.
Yeah.
It's one of the newest tricks in the run.
Negative. This is as close as I could get us. Hope you don't mind hoofing it a little.
We're now on the Forerunner, which is one of the more complicated movement levels in this game. At the start, there's a little neat trick called button jump. You'll see it. By jumping off this button and doing a little precise corner jump there, you can get out of bounds. And then the next part is doing some precise platforming / slide jumps to get onto the other side. And this gets their first encounter with the Prometheans, where the knight jumps out, and then you have to do some bunch of combat to kill every enemy. Then you have to wait for the door to open, and then there's more Prometheans there, knights, crawlers, yada yada yada.
Oh yeah, you should probably explain what a Promethean is.
The Prometheans are the newer types of enemies that 343 Industries have released in games like 4 or 5. Prometheans, they're basically like the Covenant. They're basically old Forerunners. I don't know the lore. I just play this game.
What's that distortion?
That's pretty fast so far. Well,
Coming up on this objective, you need to blow up 3 cores in order for the shield walls to be gone, so you can actually progress through the rest of the level.
That's the target, but it looks like the entrance is shielded.
And you have to do pretty long grenade throws, but with enough practice, these can get pretty easy. Although you can get screwed in some areas with a Watcher, where a Watcher can pick up grenades, which is a flying enemy It's a flying enemy that can respawn dead enemies. And they can pick up grenades, and when you throw it in the second part of the last core, it can throw the grenade, or pick up the grenade and throw it. And if you get a checkpoint afterwards, you pretty much have to revert if you don't get it, or if you get a checkpoint. After that happens, you have to go back down, punch the core, then reclimb the entire tower.
yeah, Watchers are definitely probably the most annoying enemy type in this game.
They're hard to hit. They're really annoying when you don't kill them because they respawn things. They're pretty mobile.
They haven't hit the gravity well.
It's the worst.
There's still too
Yeah.
much interference to warn them. We've got to disable that other beam.
1 out of 10 would not fight again.
Those weren't the same things we saw in the terminus.
Similar cortical footprint as the tower I had.
It's why I prefer running the Bungie games sometimes.
I was wondering why Infinity hadn't encountered the Covenant yet.
What are they doing here?
All right, coming up on
As well.
gap jump.
That can't be a coincidence.
Sounds like the Prometheus
So
don't want
battle
them to
jump
either.
is
Oh
a
yes,
trick
that.
where you
It's already lighting up
yeah
the
battle jump is where you have to jump across. A Forerunner and the Prometheans and the Covenant are having a fight. Again, I don't know the reasons for this. I just play the video games. And the trick revolves around you not getting shot, because when you get shot at while you're sprinting, it uses your sprint meter, but it slows you down to a crawling speed. It is really bad for runs. And you can hijack that ghost there to save an extra second to get to that ghost even earlier than intended. It's not a big time save, but it looks cool.
They found the opening. You better get up to that relay and fast.
And coming up here, we're gonna hijack this dude's Banshee. Normally he's scripted to get in the Banshee and fly around and shoot you, but if you're fast, you can just steal this Banshee. And this game is very easy to break and get out of bounds. So we fly up to a certain part of the level, and then we go dip down here, and then fly back up to the tower, because there's an invisible wall there that we can just fly past through. And then you can load in the pylon by going back and hitting a trigger. This skips having to blow up another 3 cores. What he tried to do there was
On into infinity.
yeah. What he's trying to do there is a little micro optimization where you use mouse and keyboard to flick the Banshee to get to that section quicker. But he got stuck in the
Well,
Banshee.
Even more funny things. I don't like Viper strats sometimes.
And and yeah, the Banshee just dies.
Why would they care about a rock?
It's fine. This is still decent pace.
Just find us that control node. How soon till Infinity hits the gravity well?
It's still a decent run by any stretch. Like, micro optimizations won't completely kill your run in this game.
There we go.
You have to kill these enemies while flying off the Phantom. It's the only forced combat in this entire level. There is a left and a right pathing that you can take. You take the left pathing because it's faster by a couple seconds, and you have to deal with more sprint flinching on the right. So we take the left on both easy and legendary. And sprint flinching really sucks on this section because it can straight up lose 3 to 4 seconds depending on how unlucky you get with the enemy locations and if they see you. Movement optimization is the big part of this level.
Oh wow, that is really unlucky. I got sprint flinched by the turret. That is so unlucky.
I don't think I've seen that turret like ever shoot anyone before. Maybe like once or twice ever,
Yeah.
but nothing like that before. Jesus.
Welcome to today's episode of That's Never Happened Before.
It has to
now
happen
we're on the
once in
ghost
a marathon run. And coming up is the worst section of this entire level, the ghost drive. The ghost physics in this game are just terrible. Like, it can flip you when you land straight, and if you flip in this section, it will just straight up kill you. And the reverts in this section are pretty bad. They can lose up to like 10, 20 seconds. And if you flip and you get a bunch of flips, it can lose even more time, or in some instances where you flip, it can just straight up kill you.
Uh-oh. Oh! Okay, that was almost really bad.
Oh my god. So yeah, that is an example of how bad the ghost physics are in this game. That was extremely lucky. So like, he landed fine, but he bounced up and then slowed down and then went off the ramp. In a lot of instances, that would have just straight up killed you.
Emergency broadcast from Infinity.
Yeah, the ghost physics in this game are something else. People
They're the
complain about the ghost physics or the vehicle physics in Halo Infinite, but I don't know. This game gives it a run for its money.
I honestly think that the physics in vehicles in this game are just way worse than Infinite's.
Not like that
Okay,
push.
this is a hard part right here. This is a section where the game loves to flip you a lot. Is that part right there? I don't know why, but that section is just the worst part of this entire run.
If you don't go off it in an extremely weird way, and if you don't go off it the right way, you have to know like specific backups in order to not flip there. With ghost movement, it's extremely rough to actually do this section cleanly. You almost never get a perfect ghost drive.
Portal up ahead.
It's extremely contentious for killing IL record paces too.
All right, still sub 10. We'll take it.
Yeah, and another fun fact about the ghost physics, they're way worse on the original version of the game, for whatever reason. Like, that last jump there, you literally land that 20% of the time without flipping. It's awful.
Stress call.
But we're coming up to an actual really good level called Infinity. Infinity is the most combat-heavy level in this entire run. Has like 5 major combat sections, and at the start there's a really nice nerd movement that you can do here.
Well, I failed the early out of bounds.
The early out of bounds there, you can do a curve jump there and land on a little piece of free geometry and get up there a couple seconds faster. I don't know how to explain this route. I don't have much experience with it.
We go out of bounds and save time. That's pretty much the shorthand version of it.
Yeah,
That
on
was still
ledge.
108. That's really good.
Yeah, on ledge, we do this tree jump because it despawns many enemies that can just straight up kill you, like knights, binary crawlers, and then there's a bunch of knights, crawlers, and watchers all across this area.
I've got another
So that's
eye on that.
normally how we
As
do
far
that
as I can
section
tell,
on
we're
ledge,
moving
but
in
on
the
easy, we started doing that because there's an extended version of the out of bounds that Harc found that saves time over walking on foot. A good 7 to 8 seconds, I would say, if that's correct.
Yep.
Multiple IDs.
It's a really nice time save, and it looks really cool. Harc showing off and finding a new out of bounds spot just to wait.
Yeah, you wait there for like 20 seconds, so might as well do something. Alright, so this is post cutscene, and we're coming up to what's known as Uphill. One of the
Uphills
most
is-
dangerous section. Oh. Uh-oh, I'm getting memed on by the enemies right now. Okay, this is actually really bad. This is a Sasquatch moment. Okay.
Poor
okay.
Sasquatch.
Okay. Alright, we finally got up. Oh my goodness.
Poor Sasquatch, you didn't have to do it to him like that. That's a bit rude. That's one of the funnier things we've seen. Yeah, uphill is a major component to your runs. Dying if you aren't careful enough is one of the only parts on easy that's actually kind of dangerous because of crawlers. If you don't know, crawlers can, if they glitch into your hitbox, it can just delete your shields instantaneously. It can go to full shield, so like taking 3/4 of your health.
The Marines got trapped.
And this section is just clearing out certain types of enemies to where the top enemy spawns, and then after that, then you're pretty much good to go for the next part of this combat section called Holdout Clear, where it's you're holding out while Cortana gets into this pedestal to open up a door, and you have to kill all these enemies and wait. It's all about spawn killing crawlers as soon as they come out. Spawn killing a bunch of knights as well. If this section's played well, then it's extremely satisfying to watch as you just instantly hit crawlers while they spawn.
Okay, Marines actually did their jobs. Very good.
You want Marines alive for this part because Marines can get on these turrets while you kill all the crawlers. There's knights that spawn up top as well, and you want them to clear out the knights for you. And sometimes they just don't like to hop in their turrets, and then they die, and it's a mess.
Yep.
One of the most annoying sections in this entire game.
Security was more difficult than I expected.
And after 2 major combat sections, we're now on to our 3rd major combat section.
Knight! What's he doing?
And this is evac clear, where you have to evacuate into the second half of this level. Because this level is so long casually, they split it up into 2 parts instead of 2 separate levels, for whatever reason.
I'm shocked how quickly the Didact has unified these covenants.
After you get the total enemy health down to a certain position, this phantom spawns. And what Harc is trying to do is get enough railgun shots in and enough damage done to it to where he can blow up this phantom before it drops off its enemy troops.
Really good RNG with the nades.
You pulse grenades. You have pulse grenades already. You want plasma grenades as they do more damage to the phantom than pulse grenades. And it helps with detaching the plasma turret as well, because the plasma turret does the most damage to the phantom as well. He wants this needler from these jackals and a railgun to where he can quickly deal with these knights.
Phantom debris kind of messed me up there.
LZ is secured.
Yeah, saw. But knights on easy aren't as bad to deal with than on legendary. But they really like to teleport around. Knights are really bad to fight casually.
Definitely.
Yeah, the reason you blow up the phantom is because normally for those knights to spawn, you have to wait for the phantom to fly away. And those knights can also spawn in like 4 different locations, and you have to memorize all of them. And there's a few combinations you have to remember how to deal with. So on to the second half of this level, all those weapons you had get transferred over into new ones. You want to get a plasma pistol here from one of them so you can hijack a ghost. Plasma pistol overcharge shots disable vehicles, and that's really helpful if you want to hijack a vehicle, so you can just overcharge it and just run up to it and then get in the vehicle. And now we just drive on over to where we need to go. On Legendary, you do some out-of-bounds platforming to skip some triggers and then get inside a Wraith.
That Wraith was extremely funny.
Yeah, I kind of cock-blocked you there.
Commander, the hangar bay doors are sealed tight.
Normally, the strat that we started doing for a long time was after we take the ghost, we get and hijack a Wraith to where we can deal with all the enemies there, because there's a lot in this next section, which is our 4th major combat section this level, and this is called Hell Room, because there's a lot of Fuel Rod Grunts, a lot of Jackals, 2 Elites, and 2 Hunters. But Harc started implementing the strat called Wraithless, to where you can deal with this mess of a clear by splattering a few enemies and then getting the fuel rod and then going ham.
Oh wow, this hunter has like wow.
Master Chief.
Unlucky dealing with that. He's jumping and punching to delay at checkpoint. And if you revert during Del Rio's dialogue, then his dialogue gets skipped, which saves a bit of time. And he's trying to go for a hog clip here so he can do some damage to an explosive door you need to blow up. Unfortunately, because he got the clip late, he doesn't do much damage to the door. So he has to wait for the button anyway.
The hatch to the maintenance causeway is jammed. Let's do something about it.
He didn't lose time, but he didn't save time. In this little rocket reload thing, to where you don't have to wait for the reload animation for the rockets, you can just blow the door up a few seconds faster, and then we just drive to where we need to go. You kind of want to avoid the knights as well, because they can smack your vehicle, and your vehicles are extremely light in this game whenever knights hit them, and you can just get launched really far. And in directions you don't want to go in, and that loses a bunch of time.
Chief Islasky, come in.
Go, Commander.
All right, coming up on the ending here.
The ending is weird to explain, but I'll try my best, as I have been.
How they're blocking the Infinity
So you have 3 jammers that you need to blow up, and those jammers, depending on the order you blow them up in, determines what phantoms spawn in at exact times.
jammer disabled. That's 2.
After using the rocket launcher here and then using the machine gun turret to blow up this 3rd one, you want to blow up these turrets right, middle, and then left. And then you can just blow up phantoms with this mantis as fast as you possibly can. Blowing this up fast will cause the next phantom to spawn. And you also want to blow up this phantom as fast as you can as well. There's a safer ending you can go for, to where you can kill it at a certain time and then it can skip a wave, but if you blow it up fast enough, Harc's going for this variation called fast ending, where every grunt and jackal needs to be off the field because the game checks for those enemies to be left alive first, and if they're not, the game will let you continue to end the level. Then if you blow it up fast, and if you blow up these phantoms fast enough, then the game just like, okay, are all the enemies dead? So before the last group of phantoms drop off their troops, it doesn't count towards that quota. And if you do this fast enough, you get Del Rio's dialogue to end the level early. Unfortunately, Harc didn't get it there, so he had to clean up a little bit of those enemies, but he didn't lose too much time. Fast ending only saves like 5-8 seconds.
Yeah, 8 if you do it as fast as possible, but on average it's like 5.
It's a very jank strat as well, because what the game considers everything to be alive is kind of jank.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had 1 or 2 jackals still alive, because I only killed 1, and I think there's 3 jackals total, so 2 of them were hiding, I think.
Yeah, and also relies on the enemies to cooperate with you. And on to the next level, Reclaimer. This level is probably one of the most broken in the entire game.
On our way.
Well, someone's overcome.
Coming up here, we do some sprint cycles here. Normally, we go up to the mammoth talk to Lasky, and then the mammoth takes off. But we can start the mammoth early without talking to Lasky and doing regular story stuff. By going up to this rock, the mammoth goes, "Hey, where are you going?" and then tries to catch up to you. But if you go far enough up there, the mammoth really, really speeds up. He's delaying this checkpoint here because if you get a checkpoint while you jump up to there, you get checkpoint immunity, and it's really easy to splatter while doing this. And if you stand in the correct spot as well, then this mammoth does not slow down. Where we knew about this already, but funny story, we were working on a project called Halo 4 Done Segmented, and we were trying to find strats to get the time as low as we possibly could. And we rediscovered this like 10 years later. People were doing this in runs before, but we didn't really do that anymore for some reason. And then Harc found this out again and found out it saved time.
Oh, but good job finding it on your own.
Right. It's one of those funny hindsight is 2023 moments of, why did we not do this earlier? How did we not think of this? So he kills exactly 6 enemies here while jumping off the mammoth. The enemies, for some reason, slow the mammoth down. And if you kill exactly 6, then the mammoth speeds up to where it needs to go, like the ever so slightest bit faster. But in order to make it faster, you have to hit these extremely precise jetpack slides. This is the first enemy first level to introduce a jetpack, and you don't give speedrunners jetpacks or anything where you can gain vertical height from. We'll just abuse it, as you can see from coming up in the later sections of this level.
That was a pretty fast first section.
Yeah, you get the target. The objective in this level is to blow up 2 target designators to where you move on. Harc waits for a current objective to pop up before crossing this, and you have to wait here because there's a very easy chance to where you can soft lock this level. If you go too fast, then the mammoth deloads / despawns, and if the mammoth isn't there, then the game refuses to check anything. It won't let you progress the level if the mammoth isn't spawned in. You have to wait exactly 5 seconds there in order to cross that load after the dialogue ends. So the mammoth doesn't despawn.
This isn't good.
So blowing up, you have to blow up these 3 cores in order to despawn an enemy shield wall. And it's very easy with all the enemies there that the elites can hijack you depending on their position. And it's also very easy for that wraith to splatter you. Harc, when he started out, had quite a bit of runs die by that wraith just splattering him.
I think I'm gonna mess this up here, but I'm gonna go for it.
So what Harc's gonna do is he's gonna do a strat that was found a couple of weeks ago called early late
I didn't
Lich
get
kill.
it because of the it's really unfortunate. Wait, did I soft lock? No, I didn't. Okay, so because I got hijacked, it made it to where I can't do this strat, so now we're losing about what is it, 30 seconds?
About 25-ish. That's really unfortunate. But what he was trying to go for is the early Lich kill, where he activates this target designator early. And then the Lich spawns earlier, and if you kill it at the right time, normally how this section goes, as you're about to see here, is you kill this Lich, and then you have to wait for the invisible wall to deload. And that strat that he was trying to go for makes that invisible wall go slower. Yeah, the Lich was there the entire time. It just waits for the object to spawn in or to move once you blow up the second designator.
Reinforcements.
And this is where you'll really see the jetpack come into handy along with crazy movement tech. This slide
I
here,
probably wouldn't bring up the name of the slide, but yeah, it's just a cool slide.
yeah, I named this slide. It is very NSFW. It was an inside joke between me and Harc, but we're not going to say it here. But that strat found by Harc saves about 6 seconds. It's really risky to go for if you don't know what you're doing. And this slide here was found by a runner named Danos, where if you go really high up and then hit a crouch slide, you can slide really far with the jetpack. And then this part here, if you do a super jetpack, which is where if you slam your face into a rock, you get extra height off that jetpack for whatever reason. And to go up and do some nice little skip going into the sniper alley. And doing another super jetpack, we go out of bounds here to where you go up really high on this rock to do another slide jump. We'll see if he hits it.
Oh, okay, that was funny.
Yeah, that kind of was. You didn't get a lot of power there, but you can get some really big power from that slide jump. It can save a massive amount of time. So this level has now gotten really, really fast-paced with all the different jetpack slides you can go for. And now we have another big strat coming up. I don't remember when this was found, but this was used in runs early on. And this trick is called Blue Elevator Skip.
Uh-oh.
Doing some precise super jetpacks and jetpacking. Oh, uh-oh.
We're
Oh, you're
fine.
good.
This elevator should take us directly to the coordinates.
So yeah, when you get in this elevator out of bounds, you have to wait for this door to close. And once that door starts to close, you can then jump off.
You say that
And now you're on a time limit to hit this trick. Normally the elevator goes down and then you have to run across all the way around. But with this, you can land on this little piece of geometry. And if you're fast enough, you can skip all of that by going into this room. It saves 30 seconds, and if you fail it and get a checkpoint, you are basically soft locked. This trick is really consistent to do, but if you fail it, it is really punishing.
Definitely very unfortunate, the time loss from the start because of the thing.
Yeah, because this Reclaimer has been going really well so far.
Cortana. Cortana.
Next, you just have to do some sprint cycles to get into the cutscene with the librarian. Something about the Didact wants the composer for very bad reasons. I don't know. I just play the games. I don't think of the lore too much. And now our
Alright.
objective is just get the hell out of here.
Pretty much.
elevator back at the chamber.
We rocket a couple of enemies
Ooh, I
so they
stuck
don't
him.
sprint flinch them.
That was cool.
Chief, what
That
happened?
stick was pretty good, not gonna lie.
It's a long story.
Gaming.
The Didact-
Totally intentional.
Epic gamer moment. Play the lore, read the games. This is very true.
Sierra 117 to infinity. What's our status?
So once we get into this portal, we are going to
Press infinity and a shot on the gravity.
hijack a Warthog by firing a rocket at the Marine. The Marine dies, but the Warthog's still in shape, so we just yoink it and then go on our merry way. Normally we have to blow up 2 cores, I want to say, before we take down the shield wall, but with a super jetpack and a grenade, we can just ignore that and end the level early.
Infinity, we're at the gravity well.
And he goes for a really nice risky slide here.
You heard
Oh,
me.
that was really clean.
Shields weakening. Keep it up.
Pretty solid reclaimer, despite the time loss for the hijack and the early lich. It's one of the most fun levels to watch in the entire game.
The Didact used this composer to
And now we're on shutdown.
Arguably, actually, pretty non-arguable, in my opinion. This is the most boring level in the entire game, but there is one strat that Harc found when he first started running this game that you'll see with the Pelican.
Hopefully I get it. I mean, I'll get some version of it, but we'll see if it actually saves a lot of time. But yeah, this level is pretty boring. It's basically you'd fly, do one little launchy thing, do some more flying, and then wait for 40 seconds, or over a minute actually.
Be okay.
Pretty boring mission.
It's a really unfortunate, because this level casually was kind of interesting.
I got
That we
the
kind of broke
instant.
this level early.
Marking 2 of the larger facilities on your HUD. They're acting as
So this trick is normally diagonally driving in a vehicle is faster, and we couldn't figure out how to do it with the Pelican on mouse and keyboard, because normally you have to do it on mouse and keyboard, but Harc found that you could diagonal drive with the Pelican by doing some variation of the Halo Infinite version of diagonal driving, but with the Pelican in Halo 4.
Pretty much perfect driving there.
It's really precise, and it's controller only. You have to. This trick works based off your circular dead zones, which is why it doesn't work on mouse and keyboard. It's very weird.
Yeah, it only works with like 1 degree of input on a controller, which is extremely precise.
And if you do it slightly wrong, it doesn't
Oh
work.
no. Okay, we're fine.
Oh god. So this trick coming up, he's going for a variation of this launch called God Launch, where you
I'm
randomly
not
get
going for God Launch.
Oh, it kind of looked like it for a second, because normally that's the setup I use to get it. But he goes for the regular launch. Normally we have to go through, and then 2 hunters come down the lift, and once we kill them, this lift starts up. But since they don't spawn, then you can just go up the lift immediately.
I like how we're not talking about me almost dying to falling off the map.
Yeah, I was going to say. That's kind of easy to fall down if you don't know what you're doing. Harc knows what he's doing, but he just had a little funny. I swear, this guy knows what he's doing. He has the easy full game record.
Oh, yeah. So about that, I actually got the easy full game record yesterday. Last night, so.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's now at an hour and 7 minutes. Pretty crazy run.
His ship's online. They're
So yeah, this level's boring. We don't talk about it much.
Yeah.
Track those liches. We can go across them to
It was literally just fly, do a launch, fly, then wait for a minute.
Yes.
It's not a cool level. Like, the launch is cool, but that's like one level. It's like 20 seconds of 4 minutes. And next level is the bane of most runners' existence when running this game,
Yeah, let's hope that
including
it goes
Harc.
kind of okay. Yeah.
It's the most technically complex level in the entire game.
Dr. Tilson, are you there?
Composer's a level that is really hard to get good at. It requires a lot of time because of the amount of tricks and the complex movement.
Send me your coordinates. I'll see what I can do about clearing an evac route on my way to you.
And it's the only level, I think, that has a sticky detonator on it. I'm 100% sure. A sticky detonator is a weapon where you stick it onto a wall and then you can blow it up at any time.
Hooray, I got the funny trick.
Yeah. Normally you have to wait for these enemies to drop off, then you kill it, then hit a button, then you climb up some stairs, and it's really slow. With a precise nade jump, you can get on top of the Phantom, and once you get on top of the Phantom, you can then go up top in like 40 seconds. And now we just kill Hunters. Hunters are kind of a joke in this game. They just die quickly. That clear took like less than 10 seconds.
Tilson's inside the door over there.
Tell Harc to learn CE. We need a new skip.
One day.
Harc, whenever he learns a game, usually finds a good number of strats. To varying degrees of quality. But they usually make the run quite a bit faster than when he doesn't learn the game at all.
Doctor, what was that?
And this game is a pretty good example as to why Harc
one
learning a
second.
game is good for strats.
The station should be equipped.
I need to listen here, Eggplant. Give me like
We can react
couple
to-
seconds.
I can program the station's defenses to provide cover for the evacuation.
Alright, got it.
So normally the way we get out of bounds is there's a little hole up there. By jumping onto the crate with either a spring jump, which is an advanced jumping technique, near a couple of frames to hit, by getting a little bit of extra height, or doing a grenade jump to get out of bounds, and thrusting on the wall, does a dialogue skip, or a dialogue overlap, that saves a couple seconds, and then this level is just all complex movement with the thruster at this point. It's a crazy fun level to watch and extremely technical. If you get hit by that, he does a little backup jump here, which is pretty crazy to me.
The battle net's directing all
Okay,
troops to
we're
our
fine.
And thrustering in this specific location and skipping a trigger can allow you to hit this button out of the map,
Cortana's
which
bringing the
skips the
defense
dialogue and the invisible elite spawning,
I hear it.
which saves about 10 seconds, because normally when the game spawns the elites, you have to kill the elites and then wait for Tilson's dialogue and Cortana's dialogue to end. And since that doesn't show up, we can just hit the button out of bounds and we can just go straight on our way 10 seconds faster than normal. And now with more thruster movement, we get into the most complex fight in the entire game. It's a really hard fight to optimize, a lot of randomness, but it's a very skill-based fight at the same time.
They found the composer.
You'll see Harc grab this Spartan laser, and the Spartan laser is very important. He's going for a trick called wave skip, and which was a joke in the community for a long time, which Danos has now made consistent, and now we do in runs.
Ready or not, I need it now.
Everything on this map has to die, including this Banshee leaving. And once everything on the map dies, we have to overlap a checkpoint done and a loading done at the exact same time. And when that happens, the game gets confused and skips a wave.
This is not good. I haven't even got another wave yet.
So, in order to get another wave, 2 enemies have to be left alive and your shields have to be recharging. And you have to hit wave skip as well. So everything on the map has to die, and I don't think the second ghost has
Yeah,
come out
there's a-
yet.
Yeah.
The ghosts love to hide, which is kind of what makes this strat kind of jank. You normally have to blow up this phantom. If there's a ghost that spawns in, now would be the time. He then gets the ghost. And then you have to kill this pilot, and you have to delay this checkpoint to
I
overlap
didn't
the
get
checkpoint
it.
done.
Can you tell me what I did wrong there, actually? Because that seemed fine to me, but apparently it wasn't.
It looked like you did that a little bit too late.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
fine if you don't get it, but wave skip does save a good 20 to 25 seconds. It's a quite big time save to get.
Banshees!
Oh.
In order for the level to end, we have to kill 3 banshees, and he tries to get a 2-for-1 here, which unfortunately he didn't get.
Come on, game. Give me the check. There we go.
And then once the game considers you safe, you get the checkpoint. And once you get that checkpoint, you're now on a 1.5-minute timer for the door to open. Not going for the Banshee out of bounds at the end.
I'm bringing the mantis up here just to be a little bit safe, so I don't get. So that doesn't happen. Oh wow! I don't even know what killed me.
What did you die to?
I don't even know. The game just took me out.
The Wraith. Just to let you know, the Wraith shot normally doesn't one-hit you. That is extremely weird.
I don't even know what hit me.
Where is he?
Go for safe strats and get the funny thing to happen to you anyways. Sounds about
This is
right.
one of the funniest things I've seen. Oh my god.
Yeah, this is now well, let's just say that this composer is not up to eggplant standards.
Head back to the elevator.
Never was.
I'll keep trying to raise her.
If I hit wave skip, it would have been fine. Because if I
No,
hit
it
wave
wouldn't.
skip, then I wouldn't have been splattered copium.
Habit signs will be in one of the cargo bays.
No, it wouldn't have. I need my ego to be filled. Please tell them why this composer isn't up to my standards.
Because my name is an eggplant. There we go.
Okay, that works enough. I'm known for being a sweat on this level. This level is pretty hard to do, and I'm one of the very few runners that's pretty consistent and fast with this level. It's a pretty tricky level to get good at, but it can save you a lot of time if you're good and consistent at it.
Cortana, see if you can raise Tilson. Get me a status on the rest of the station.
I can't believe you did that.
Cortana, I need that info. Look, don't think about
Huh.
it.
All those things
Sub
just
10 challenge.
impossible.
Only focus on finding me Tilson.
Tilson.
Yeah, I don't even. Is this sub 10?
I don't think so. It's pretty close.
Pagasti Institute.
Normally, a good composer for most people would be under 9 minutes.
On 350 level. B deck.
I think this is sub 10, but just barely.
It's very close. It would probably be like a 9:58 or a 9:59.
Nope. 10:01.
It's not. Sub 10 challenge impossible.
listen. I had a funny thing happen, okay?
Sure, buddy. Okay, dude. And another level that's the bane of Harc's existence. Midnight. One of the scariest last levels in the entire franchise. At the
Yeah.
start, we just break out of bounds with the broadsword, and then we hit loads out of bounds. And if you fail hitting one of these loads, it loses 2 minutes. It is very stressful at the end of the run.
So yeah, we use lots of interesting lineups, so we actually know what we're doing since we're flying out in the void.
Yeah, we normally have to do some. We have to look at pieces of geometry far away in order to tell where we're going. And we know where the triggers are out of bounds because we've played this game like God knows how many times. I don't know, Harc. Maybe you can get a 13-minute midnight. Just saying.
Nah, I'm gonna get a PB midnight.
I really hope the game jinxes you.
Wow. I'll make sure to pick you as my commentator next time.
Don't worry. This game is dying anyway.
Alright, so now we're about to go back inbound here shortly, just after I do the hardest part of this.
Hitting this load is the scariest part of the entire level. Not even kidding.
Okay, checkpoint immunity saved me.
Yeah, if you hit that without the checkpoint, it would have killed you.
We could try punching a hole in that hull plating, but it
Checkpoint immunity is where you. I think I've explained this on Reclaimer, but I forget things easily, so I'll just say it again. Grants you a couple like frames, if not a full second, of invulnerability. Same with the enemies. And if you get a checkpoint and like say a vehicle splatters you, it won't kill you.
copy Cortana. Weapon.
And if you hit some piece of geometry hard with the broadsword, it insta kills you. So it's very important and very lucky to avoid that. And you have to take weird lines around those pieces of geometry with the broadsword because the geometry in a lot of those turrets and doing that the way he did is very jank.
We'll have to deploy the warhead manually. How and where?
And now we're on to the inside section of Midnight, where a lot of it is movement cycles and killing certain watchers to where we don't get sprint flinched as easily. Although it's still luck based whether or not shots hit, or if they just ignore you.
I recommend entering the doorway to your left. I won't leave you, I promise. Good for something, I guess.
All right.
I detected an energy signature ahead. I think it's a transit system like on Requiem. Find a way to access it. I'll try to route us to the composer.
After this, it's just a bit of waiting, and then kill a couple crawlers.
Is this the secret you've kept from me? This evolving capsule.
Didac knows I'm in the system. Hurry, go!
Got bad RNG there.
Portal!
You have to kill 5 crawlers in order for this next portal to enter.
Yeah, I got the crawlers on the wrong side of the wall.
Yeah, they can either spawn 2 crawlers on the left side or 2 crawlers on the right side, and you have to guess which one it is. Unfortunately, it was the wrong side he guessed. Didact is a gamer. He has LED strips all over the wall.
I can't hide much longer.
I wonder how much Didact paid for his RGB gamer lights.
Lots of money.
Surely it's probably more than most of our wages.
You paid 5 million 5 million Forerunner monies. All right, RNG
wonder what-
portal. Oh, actually, that was pretty good.
To explain RNG portal, in the game's code, this portal that requires you that you're required to enter to get to the next section has an 8-second random variance between 12 seconds to enter and 20 seconds. Which is really annoying on easy because most of the time, any sort of seconds of time loss can make or break a run, and sometimes if you're low on pace and you need the portal to go well, you can get like a 19-second portal, 18-second portal, or the worst portal, and your run dies. It is fantastic.
I've taken control of the local defense turrets.
What Harc's doing is a trick that I also don't think we can say. It's a pretty easy trick to understand.
I actually don't remember the name of it, but
I'll say the what the trick is actually called.
Odd.
Alley specific standing point of despawn. You can probably guess the acronym.
Gotcha.
Where if you stand far away from where Cortana is, Cortana thinks you're going to leave her. So in order to progress the mission, Cortana activates early, and you can just pull her out. Don't get that out of context, you weirdos. And once you pull Cortana out, you then have to go
Oh my
to the portal.
goodness. I have a really itchy nose right now.
How do we go?
Can barely. And
My brain is fried. It's 3 a.m. here.
our momentum should carry us through the low gravity.
All right, I'm going to change down to 60 FPS. The reason why I do that is there's a lot of very
Once that warhead is dropped,
what's the word I'm looking for? Very precise combat at the end, and enemy behavior is a lot more random the higher of a frame rate you run. So the lower frame rate that you run, the more predictable enemy behavior is. So
Enemy AI just acts faster the higher FPS you have. And at 60, it just makes combat sections easier. And because crawlers are hard to hit, they're mobile, and their headshot hitboxes are tiny, it's best to just switch to 60 FPS in order for the combat section to go a lot more smoothly.
The nuke won't do us any good unless we can disable that barrier. Find me a terminal. I've got to do something you're not.
And now we're on to the towers, the last section of the entire game, where you have 3 main towers. You have to clear out 2 of them. One of them is Crawler Tower, and the other is Night Tower, where the majority of the enemies, if not all the enemies, on the tower that Harc's going to first is all crawlers and 1 watcher, and all the enemies on the second tower you clear out are all knights. And we've saved frags for the entirety of this level to where we can do nade jumps to get up to this tower quicker. And you have to wait for shields because there's a ton of crawlers and they will do a ton of damage to you if you don't kill them quickly. And I think there's 12 enemies you have to kill out in this, and you have to kill all of them, or all of them have to be off the tower. And once you kill all of them, the pedestal can open up.
It's working.
That's a pretty good crawler tower.
Pretty good crawler tower. I'll give you 10 bucks if you go for the funny knight head jump at the end.
All right, I'll go for it once. If I get a checkpoint after the cutscene, actually. If I don't get a checkpoint, I won't go for it. Because otherwise it's like a 2-minute time loss rather than 20 seconds.
My man. What a gamer. So once we get up this tower, we just backsmack and hammer these guys. We wait for a certain amount of time to where this knight teleports forward because new patch is broken.
Well, I don't have a incineration cannon.
Unfortunately, I don't think we can go for the funny knight head jump.
Nah, we can go for it. We don't. Trust me.
Still you fail.
All right, we will trust the easy full game world record holder. He knows what he's doing. He totally didn't die on and get a under 10-minute composer.
I'm gonna try to delay the checkpoint for a second. Okay, we got it.
So to explain what he's doing, I'll just see if he hits it first.
Almost. I'm gonna go for it one more time.
I'll explain it if he hits it. If not, if he doesn't hit it, I'll explain it afterwards.
Okay, you can explain it now. Yeah. We went for
Okay,
it.
so normally how this trick works is if you kill a knight and the knight does a little scripted move to where he jumps up and does a ground pound with enough force. And if you jump up top of him while he does that animation, you can jump up and be invisible, and the light bridge that normally spawns up is still active. And you can get on top of that early and end the level, which also does some little funny side effects. And unfortunately, you can't see those here. Thank God my $10 are safe.
I mean, the knights actually went into the right spot both times. I just failed. But yeah, I told you it could work without the incineration cannon.
I believe you now. And this is basically the end of the run right here. We just do a little scripted time. Funny fact here. Before this game was fixed, that little thing was that cutscene with the didact has been broken. The meme is no, instead of press LT to plant grenade, it's press right trigger to fire machine gun.
Oh yeah, time is coming up. In like 3, 2, 1, time. And that's Halo 4. Eggplant, do you have anyone you want to shout out?
Shout out to Harc, the person running, for helping finding the new strats to make the run it is today. It was very nice to see a fresh face go into the game and develop the run to make it both easier and faster and more fun.
And I would like to shout out one of my friends, Roy. He's in the chat right now. And I would like to shout out HaloRuns.com, the place where you go for all your Halo speedrunning needs. And with that, yep, I think we're done. So thank you guys for having me.